all my relatives live in Lvov, that's in Ukraine. And my father was called to nuclear power plant as a specialist. And first he arrived here, and then afterwards, maybe 1 year and a half, we moved also with my mom. We already moved here and started to live here, and that's the whole time we've been here. My father, while he was still alive, because he died about, well, 11 years ago, he worked at nuclear power plant, and we were basically that's how we actually arrived here. And I have a brother, and he was already born here in Visaginas. I would say that it's a very comfy, cozy, small, green town with pretty much pleasant, usually, people. Maybe not always, maybe not all of us, but still very, I would say, welcoming as well. And I would also add that there's a lot of nature around and in town and around the town, and that we have a lot of lakes nearby where people can go. And mostly, I would say that Visaginas is very good for young families with small kids and for senior people. That was something I would say that this is maybe because adults in the age of 30, 60, from 30 to 60, they probably have more energetic life, and maybe this can be a little bit boring for them to live here. But I know that in Visaginas, quite a lot of people live who work distantly, freelancing, and they still choose nature because maybe of a fresh air, at least, that you can actually breathe here. Comparing to the big cities, this is a very, very big plus. I went to UK for a year and a half. I worked there. I really wanted to go there. That was my sort of dream. And then I don't know, maybe I stayed because this is my home. Maybe somewhere else I just didn't fit in. And here you don't have to fit in here. Well, for me, because I'm already home. Maybe that's why. Maybe this is a sort of easier way for someone. Well, someone might think that this is a normal way to decide where to live. But I really, sometimes I really like to go away to change something around myself, because this is a small town and this is everything is the same. There is maybe a minus in this, but I have this job that I really don't call job because I really love it, and it's very, very, very how I don't know how to put it in one word, but the thing is that I always do something new, and maybe that's why. Well, what I do is a little bit outweighing the same pictures I have around me in town. Some time ago, many years ago, probably, I was a completely different person. I found a job when I came back from UK. I found a job here in Swing Factory, and I was like that Dantelian, very sweet, very romantic, very light. Um, and that place changed me very, very seriously, completely. When I came out of there 12 years later, I was a completely different person. But I would say that probably when there was no so many restrictions about private life, about what we can do or we cannot do, people communicated more openly and more closely because they didn't think about hurting someone or putting their nose somewhere very deep in someone else's business, and that they will actually hear in reply that this is not your business. Why are you even asking about this? And maybe this is actually influence of European. What I mean is like treasure, but it's not. No, values, European values. That that what I meant. That this culture and these values came into our lives and really changed them in good ways, in bad ways, in different ways. But I think that we started to communicate less closely because of that, that you can actually, you cannot ask this, you cannot ask that, you can't do something that we normally we did. And this is probably, that's why we didn't connect well now that much. Even with all this COVID period where people were actually bound to be at home and to connect with each other sitting at home. By the way, I don't know what the statistics are. Maybe this period actually made something better for relationships in families. Maybe, I have no clue really. I have no idea. This is just, I think about it right now. Maybe that worked well, or maybe more families actually broke up because they realized that they can't really be in one place at the same time for a very long time. Yeah. So this is hard to say, but in general, I think that now we are really polite. Well, like Brits, we're polite, we're asking how are you doing, but we still really don't care how in fact you are doing. In Visaginas, this is definitely more close communication than if you compare to some bigger cities. Well, because it's small community, and this is also for business, for example, this is actually also not really good. Uh, just because it's people are interested, people are bored, and people are interested in everything which happens here. And you really cannot imagine what topics are actually raised sometimes in Facebook groups of Visaginas. This is just unbelievable. A lot of people from, well, somehow it comes out like this, that a lot of people from Vilnius especially who are speaking in Russian, they know Visaginas, they visit Visaginas, and they are also parts of our groups. And when they read this, they say, come on, man, you don't have a job to do or something. So this is really because there is nothing to do here. People are worried and are talking about really, really well, I would say unnecessary things. They really don't matter. But when something matters, then people, well, some people just turn their face somewhere in different direction and um, make it like, oh, okay, nothing happened, I didn't see it. Because this will definitely change. I don't know in which direction. I really don't know. But to be honest, in my own opinion, I see very, very sad future, really, because if the whole world will keep going the way it goes right now, with all the values and all the political views and all the other important things that are being discussed in social networks anywhere, everywhere, I see very, very sad, very lonely, very devastating picture, really. So I have no idea how this will actually turn out to be. But what is happening right now, this is, of course, something that will pass. anyway. But for now, I don't know, maybe something major happens, and then we will start again to appreciate each other, to see each other, to value each other more than anything else. Because now I see that much more is important how you look, what you wear, rather than what you do and what you're inside, what your values are, what you stand for. This is something like, oh, I don't have time for this. I see that you're wearing Rolex. Oh, my man. This is something that I see really. Also in Visaginas. Well, there are maybe there's not a lot of people who talk about it, but I definitely know that people who value this kind of stuff, they would definitely see and notice what is missing in your outfit, or what is present in your outfit, and they will straight away make some conclusions which might not be uh, the way they are really, people. So basically, yes, this is also, I can feel it in Visaginas as well, but maybe not that much as in big cities. Yeah, we communicate with several of my friends from very, very long time ago, from school, I would say. And I'm not sure that I can't want them to come back, because they have their lives, I have my life, and this is not something that I could even suggest to them, because this is completely their decision. Uh, I'm not sure again that it will be the same person I've known. No, because it's different way to communicate. Once you communicate like every day sitting on the bench, and the completely different way when you're communicating once a week, or yeah, or maybe in 2 weeks or in a month, over the phone or over social networks, and this is completely different picture. So when person comes back to live here, maybe that would be completely different person. So it doesn't really, I don't know, I would say that, well, in Russian there is a saying that one old friend is much more valuable than two new friends. And this is true, but it's hard to keep friends from that old, no, for such a long period of time, because our values change. We all are going on our own paths, and it's really big happiness, I would say, and big luck when you have your friend from 30 years ago and you're still friends, because all your values actually match. And this is, well, this is something, I think it's a treasure, really. Well, this is in general, I don't know. I would say that we were much more polite. We were much more not educated, but we had more culture in all our gestures and all our sayings. We appreciated elder people much more than kids do now. We appreciated teachers. We had some basic respect to everyone around, and now it's that kind of time when you don't have you don't have to you don't own anything to anyone. And in that perspective, everyone thinks that, oh, I don't have to respect that person, so I won't, and I will show to him or her that I don't have that respect. No, this is liberty of expression, this is liberty of word, this is liberty of liberty. And as much as I like the idea, I think that it's already starting to over it's normal to become more a bad thing than a good thing. really, because people, if you don't lead people, then they can, well, in respect of their experience, in respect of their knowledge, in respect of their culture, they show what they have. And if they have culture, if they have respect, if they have some sort of basic idea of good environment, of ecological attitude to everyone around, they will show it. And if they don't, then they will not, because no one leads them. No one tells them that this is not the way how it's supposed to be, because it's freedom. You can do whatever you want. So allowing everything, it's a good thing when people learn from the mistakes. When they made something, they saw that another person reacted not the way he expected, or something bad happened in respect of their actions, and they learn from it, and they, okay, I will not do that the same thing once again, because I saw that this is something that people didn't like. This I understand, but most people don't. When they think that they don't need to be or well, my idea is that it's a good thing when it just should be more control. Well, still should be more control, because this is something that I don't know where it can actually unveil and reveal and unwrap. Well, in this perspective, yeah, I would say maybe that's also a reason why this town is different from, no, why you actually really feel that it's different. Because first of all, when it started to already, when there was a need of big amount of specialists in nuclear power plant, here arrived a lot of educated people, a lot. And I'm pretty sure that if you take a percentage and compare it to some different places in the world, you would see the true difference, really big difference, because there were well, nuclear power plant this is something that people really need to understand what they're doing, and they really need to be that smart to build, to control, and to make sure that nothing happens. So maybe this is the first reason why, because for very long, no, well, in respect of our town, for a very long time, because, well, this year I think Visaginas is 50. And this is not a very long time for a town, but in respect of town, this may be 20, 25 years. That's a long period of time, and a lot of people were very educated. And maybe that's because, well, now generation, this is their children or children of their children. So maybe that's one reason why this is a little bit different from other places. The other reason, you totally correct, because of the time when it started to build and when the town was finished in very short time, and maybe also because it was built exactly as I don't know if there's I don't know which word to use for, because well, this town was basically built for people who work in nuclear power plant. In Russian, there's a saying that it's город Sputnik, town which is like leading to a nuclear power plant. So this is not a nuclear power plant. This is the main major, or well, for many years it was, I would say, one and the only place where people work. Well, mostly. I'm not talking about the shops or where people hairdressers or something like this, or markets, because there's still few. And in recent in that times, there was well, three big shops, three or wait a second, three or four big shops in the for the whole town for 30 something 35,000 people, and it was enough. No, well, I think that it was enough. I'm sure that a lot of people, you would say that you would hear that it wasn't enough. But anyway, maybe, well, because of that, because that was the town, and I'm actually really surprised even now that this town wasn't closed, because there are well, I'm sure you heard about closed towns where you can't actually go in there just as easily as anywhere else. uh, why it wasn't, I have no idea, but it wasn't. But it still was very specific, very well, it was from the very beginning, it was very different from everything else, from any city in Lithuania, and different to many cities anywhere else in the world, if you would think. So probably all that leads now to the way you feel here, that it's still somehow different from other places. A lot of different things were transported to a nuclear power plant, and a lot of them were very, very some white or big, something that you can't really just drive in a car or a truck or something, or by the train, or by, because I know that actually to nuclear power plant there was at least one train going, and a lot of things were transported by train. But maybe all those were all the roads which we have this wide, maybe they were built the way they were because a lot of transportation was made to nuclear power plant. Maybe that's why. I was happy the whole time. I was happy in kindergarten. I was happy at school. I've changed several schools, and I even actually learned in one, then went to another one, and then came back in the first one. And well, it doesn't matter. Everywhere, I was I was happy. I can say that, but not in the same in each school in the same way. And all these stories I started to learn about really late, years later, but I realized that okay, this is the world I didn't live in. This is something I found out, that there's like a parallel world. Like I lived in one world, and actually there's a lot of different stories in Visaginas I found out years later, which made me realize that this is the small town, but I lived in a completely different reality. Completely. But I was happy. All those years, 15, 20, 25, even 30 years, I was happy. And people, I know that some people were really, really struggling to survive. I know that those people who were on drugs, I know people who were, well, they all somehow, we live all in one same place, but our experience is unbelievably different in such a small town. I didn't think about it for a very long time at all. I didn't know that existed. I started to realize, no, oh, because this is different when you see the picture on the telly where there's a film with these struggles and everything. This is just a little bit different. And when you actually start to realize that this is something that is around you with the same people you knew, and you find out years later that that was the case, and that was the story, and you're like, come on, it's not it's just not possible that this actually, and it doesn't matter that this is the same small town. This is a completely different reality. So this is something that I'm really shocked. In 2006, I was not 21, but you see, that period I was already in UK, because before that I was. I was always out of the system. Yeah, And actually, I can tell you one thing. If you don't read a lot, if you don't watch a lot, if you don't listen to rubbish that is all over the place, everywhere in all newspapers and everything, everything is being very, very накручивают. I don't know how to say, over talked, over too much. And if you just say back off, leave me alone, the communication between people is completely normal. Absolutely, and I see it every day, and I don't feel that there is some problem. Well, at least in Visaginas, I don't see that problem in communicating in some kind of an understanding or something like that. I see that in newspapers. I see that in some Facebook groups or specific posts where it's being exaggerated really, really to that level that it shouldn't be that way, because it's already way too angry, way too well. If you just leave it alone, leave it aside, and you go talk to people, you go communicate to people, you see that there's a completely normal atmosphere, completely normal attitude, and everyone understands everyone. I would like to say that I love it very much. And this is really my hometown. I really like that I'm here, that I didn't go anywhere. And believe me, there were so many times I actually wanted to drop off everything and just go somewhere, because it's hard in small community. It's really hard to do something, especially if you manage business. Sometimes it's unbelievable, really. And it's so much easier when you go somewhere in a bigger place. There's more people, more opportunities, more of that feeling that what people don't care. And people, if you do if you do mistake in Visaginas, everyone around you will know that the whole town will know that you made the mistake, and the whole town will talk and talk and talk and talk until someone else makes mistake. People will talk about your mistake, then someone else makes a mistake, and they will talk about their mistake. And this is on and on and on, because we're bored, because it's a small town and you have to talk about something. So this is the specific, I think, of just a small community. So in general, I really love my town. It doesn't really matter that we're sometimes like this, because when something really bad happens, if there's really something major which demands attention, demands help, demands people to come together, we do. And this is probably also because of that small community.